Another Kamala staffer heading for the hills, joining the mass exodus of workers who couldn't stand one more minute listening to her laugh. Harris's deputy chief of staff, Michael Fuchs, becoming the 12th aide. That's how you say it.
No, it's not.
Fuchs.
No, it's
Fuchs.
I'm going to say Fuchs, okay?
Fuchs.
Anyway, the guy called it quits. You can figure out his name later, which comes amid the VP's latest train wreck of an interview. I'm making fun of her.
He said that Vladimir Putin should no longer be the leader of Russia. Do you agree?
Listen, I think that you framed the point quite accurately and well, which is America's policy has been and will continue to be focused on the real issue at hand, which is, one, the needs of the Ukrainian people, which we will continue to support through humanitarian assistance, through security assistance, but also ensuring that there's going to be serious consequence for Vladimir Putin.
All right.
Need to support.
Anyway, Kamala's troubles don't end there. The Veep going maskless at an elementary school Monday, of course, surrounded by masked-up children. The power versus the powerless. Jessica, you are a very hard worker, very successful woman. Every young woman would want to be like you. I think that people have a problem with Kamala Harris because we all know someone like that, someone who kind of coasts and glides, unlike you, someone who might have cut in line, who doesn't do the work. We all know people like that, Jessica. But they're like, I think we're now seeing that she doesn't want to do the work. She doesn't want to read the prep work, and so she shows up and she sounds like, she sounds like she just wants to get through it. How's that for an analysis, Jessica?
Well, it was smart. You appealed to my ego.
Yes.
So that would get me in the mood to do some Democrat bashing. I don't really want to, though. We've already talked about this. I believe I was the one, actually, who brought up the fact that staffers have complained that she isn't reading the briefing books, and that's really the cardinal sin of how you treat your staff. They invest hours and hours and hours of their time, and they've built decades of experience so that they can make you smarter about these things.
Like reading the packets.
Yes.
Yeah. Who needs to read the packets? Oof. One thing I will say about the turnover, and obviously that's high turnover, and you haven't seen the same levels leaving the president's office, but we are heading into a midterm cycle, and it is very common for people to leave at that point because they are traditionally people who have worked on the campaign. They work in the White House or in the VP's office, and then they want to go back out there on the campaign trail because that's their natural habitat. So that is something that happens.
I heard you let out a harumph when we talked she going to hang out with the kids, and she's not wearing a mask, and the kids are all masked. It's just crazy.
It's does her staff not look at any media?
I don't.
How many politicians have to get into this situation? Like Stacey Abrams, remember, she even actually finally apologized for it. So it's not hard. Like, you're going to have and also they have advanced teams. So it's not like it was spontaneous. They're going to go there like everyone's masked and she's not. All the adults are not masked.
They're not. You know what? It goes back to they're not trying to help her.
No, they're not trying to help her.
They're not trying to help her.
Nobody's trying to help her. And also, I feel like you wouldn't be surprised if the Babylon Bee, like if the headline was Kamala Harris to leave Vice President Kamala Harris's office because of a toxic work environment. I mean, every day, it's almost like a joke. Every day, like somebody else left. How many staffers are there? And usually for every politician, you will have somebody who's like a lifer.
Yeah.
Like, who was with you from the beginning? Who was your bad guy that became the chief of staff? Like, who was that person in her world? Who's your Johnny?
Who's your Johnny?
Who's your Johnny?
She doesn't have a Johnny.
She doesn't have a Johnny. People at home are trying to figure that out. Is that something on Urban Dictionary? Don't look up Johnny.
It is now.
Jesse, people are fleeing her like she's a war-torn country. It's just not good.
And people left Trump because they were fired.
Right.
People are running away from Kamala Harris, and Kamala actually makes Joy Reid look smart, so that's an accomplishment there. She makes mistakes with the masks in the school because, Dana, she doesn't have an advanced team. Her entire advanced team has resigned. Her entire communications team is gone. Her top 2 speechwriters are gone. Her social media strategist resigned. Her national security advisor resigned. And now her deputy chief of staff has resigned. Is the media going to just say, oh, it's the 13th staffer that left? It's the 14th. When are they going to write the truth? The woman can't talk and everybody hates her. Same with the president. He can't talk and he's incompetent. We have the record highest gas prices, record high inflation, record high border crossers, and no one's talking about this. We're acting like this is a normal presidency. This is the worst presidency statistically of all time. And we're acting like, oh, okay, the midterms are coming, wah, wah. What, excuse me?
Yeah,
Record high gas prices, record high border prices.
Of all time.
Worst crime rate of all
The
time.
highest job creation. We
No,
have
the jobs are just coming back after the pandemic.
Also, by the way, at that school, masks are optional. They did release a statement, but all the kids are in them.
All right, what do you say?
You know what? Here's the thing. We're blaming the woman's staff. Excuse me. You're the vice president of the United States. You don't know if the school you're going to, if there's an issue about kids wearing masks or not wearing masks.
Right.
She doesn't need a staff for this. The bottom line is she can't communicate with us, so how could she possibly communicate with her own staff? If she's too stupid to talk and say anything other than, our job always has been and continues to be that which we are going to continue to do until we solve the issue that we went in to solve from the beginning. And that is, hang on, Jesse, every day, every day. Look, I've said it before. This woman is the insurance policy for Joe Biden. We're all praying that Joe Biden has good health, that he's well cared for, so this woman never becomes president. Because I never want to be in a situation where I'm praying for El Cid to come out and, we prop the guy up because we don't want her as president. The woman is not smart. I'm tired of people saying we should look up to her. She's a disaster. Joe's a disaster. You can't possibly say they're doing anything good. You speak to any American who has to decide whether they want to put gas in their car or whether they want to take a bicycle to work. This is not what Americans should have to deal with, because this guy shut down gas pipelines in the United States and now is going to Russia and Venezuela. This is un-American, and that's the end of it.
That's the end? Are you sure that's the end of it? Because we still got another 40 minutes.
I was going to say, you just reminded me of a great idea that I had. And if you're a good politician, you look at what gets other politicians in trouble. She should have seen what happened with Stacey Abrams and the mask in the kindergarten
Yeah,
and said, I'm not going to be Stacey Abrams.
Yeah.
It's that
She's
simple.
not that smart.
It's not that hard.
How did she get there? Will someone tell me?
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.